Our culture is having a nostalgic moment, whether it's the remakes and reboots of classic hits, the reborn love of things from the 80s and 90s, or lo-fi chill hop. Nostalgia is in. Stranger Things is a show that both represents and capitalizes on that nostalgia. The electronic music genre vaporwave is another image of this collective nostalgia. So, how do these two different media overlap thematically, and will that overlap tell us anything about why nostalgia is so big right now? This video is sponsored by 8 Hours. Go to 8hours.com to find a curated list of video essays like this one that you can browse by director, topic, and genre. Vaporwave is easier to show you than it is to explain. A genre of electronic music that has developed over the last decade and has its roots in techniques as banal and simple as slowing down existing songs, it often relies on spacey synths and layered effects that create a sense of nostalgia, longing, and wistful memory, often specifically for the 80s and 90s. Born out of chill wave, a genre obsessed with 80s synths, vaporwave is based around repurposing sounds and samples from the 80s and 90s and placing them within a nostalgic context, sometimes literally decaying the sounds and images, creating an effect where it often feels like you've come across an old, worn-out copy of an 80s song. Vaporwave has spawned subgenres like Simpson wave, placing slightly old media within a nostalgic frame, but one unique small subgenre of vaporwave makes the connection to Stranger Things that I want to highlight here most obvious: MALLSOFT. MALLSOFT, as a subset of vaporwave, involves music that sounds like it's being played in an often empty mall. This music evokes nostalgia for a bygone consumerist utopia, an era of bustling malls, color, and abundance. Stranger Things 3 capitalizes on a nostalgia for the same era. Both capture a distinct feeling of the colorful, vibrant consumerism that the mall embodied. A sort of limitless luxury for all and excess, free from concerns about environmentalism, ethical manufacturing, and labor or late capitalism. But there's a key difference in the perspective each of these take on this era. Vaporwave and MALLSOFT position themselves in our present, looking back in a mournful, wistful way, giving the empty, dying mall center stage. One thing that illustrates this is Dan Bell's Dead Mall series on YouTube, which involves tours of dying malls across America, while you can hear in the background the real-life equivalent of what MALLSOFT attempts to replicate. Vaporwave's connection to the dying mall can also be seen in the YouTube mashup videos that combine old footage of malls with vaporwave music playlists. Stranger Things Season 3, on the other hand, focuses on the burgeoning of this era of the glory of the mall, still in its present tense. There are no empty, abandoned malls yet in the world of Stranger Things.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
But while Stranger Things openly glorifies the mall and this sort of brazen consumerism.
Do you like that? How do I know what I like? You just try things on until you find something that feels like you.
Like me?
Yeah. Not Hopper. Not Mike. You.
It also has its concerns about runaway capitalism, and it holds these ideas in competition. My main point here is that both carry a tension between glorifying and reminiscing about the era of the mall while portraying an underlying skepticism and concern. Vaporwave through its future perspective of decay and loss, and Stranger Things by making the same mall a battleground with monsters and bad guys lurking in the darkness and beneath the surface. Vaporwave preceded Stranger Things, and while it's possible that it influenced Stranger Things directly, I think it's more likely that these themes arose independently of each other out of the same cultural foundation. Both reminisce about a kind of hope, one that culture as a whole doesn't feel very often anymore, a time when naivete meant the materialism of a mall could be enjoyed guilt-free, when capitalism was about to usher us into a technological utopia.
So, what do you think?
Things were developing fast, the internet and cell phones were on the horizon, and we couldn't yet see the downsides of these developments, how our privacy would erode, and the distractions and problems smartphones and social media would bring with them.
The hell?
Outrun, another genre of music to spawn from chillwave and a sort of cousin of vaporwave, presents the nostalgic synths of the 80s but with a darker and more aggressive tone. Outrun's visual and sonic similarity to Stranger Things is another notable link in this thematic web of nostalgia. I think all of these things arise out of a specific cultural feeling. They're made because the creators feel a certain way, and they resonate because audiences feel a certain way about the past and where we are now. Whether or not these themes are true is irrelevant. For them to be relevant and engaging, they merely need to connect with current perceptions. Stranger Things and Vaporwave don't have to be accurate representations of the past. In fact, many of the young people who watch the show and listen to Vaporwave, myself included, weren't even alive in the 80s, so its accuracy isn't important. It's a nostalgia for a past we imagine existed. But why long for the past? Why be enticed by a lost hope? Well, when millennials and younger generations look around at society and don't see hope for the future, seeing technology and consumerism not about to usher us into the next great era, but as something that preys on our attention, destroys our planet, and might create AI monsters, it's hard to find hope in that future. So we might cling to or reminisce about a hope that existed in the past, or at least one we imagine did. We might even collectively mourn a lost innocence and glory that the mall represented. And if that's what we want, and that's how we feel, Stranger Things and Vaporwave are there to feed that nostalgic longing for that hope.
Do you like that? How do I know what I like? You just try things on until you find something that feels like you.
Thanks so much to 8 Hours for sponsoring this video. Recently, they started producing original video essays. In this video, director David Lowery explains the choices he made in a scene from his film, The Old Man and the Gun. You can watch this video essay and others now at 8hours.com. 8 Hours is a website where you can browse video essays from all over the internet. If you love video essays, 8 Hours is an essential resource. They help you find video essays like mine and make it really easy to browse for them by director, filmmaking technique, genre, or creator. If you're a fan of video essays, you really got no excuse not to check it out. That's the number 8hours.com. Thank you so much for watching this video. A special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You can go to patreon.com/ThomasFlight to learn more about how you can support my channel on an ongoing basis and get access to things like my monthly podcast and monthly bonus video.